Hello everyone, and welcome back to 4KB Shorts Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program with Kerbal Space Adventures. Now, I want to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of heads up. I've done a lot of stuff off camera between the last episode and this one, and the reason for that is because the tech tree, the interstellar tech tree, has a science requirement so high that it makes it almost impossible. Well, actually, it does make it completely impossible to get the science to unlock the bits of the tech tree within a reasonable amount of time when recording episodes of a series. Now, for that reason, I've done some stuff off camera, nothing involving Kerbals, because I know how you guys are about that. You guys are here to see yourselves fly off into space. So, of course, everything I did was automated with probe bodies and things like that. And basically what I did is I did a mapping mission to Duna as a preparatory step towards another mission to Duna. And on top of that, I took a couple of probes to the moon and brought back some science. I will also state that I did have to cheat a little bit, and the reason for that is because between the last episode and this episode, something happened to the tech tree, and it was updated. And that update had caused the tech tree to be split with yet another node, and that node would have cost us another 1500 science in order to unlock. So because of that, I did give ourselves 1500 free science, which I then used to unlock that node, which was a node that had parts we'd already unlocked, moved to a different node. So I was, it's like, why? On top of that, I did also reduce the amount of science required for each individual node after a certain point, because we would have had to get about 18,000 science in order to unlock those nodes, and that would have been a whole season of Kerbal Space Adventures used just to farm and grind science. And I don't think that's fun for anybody, either me off camera or you on camera, for us just to do the same thing over and over and over again to acquire minuscule amounts of science to unlock one or two parts that we need. So with that out of the way, let me go ahead and tell you what we're going to do. We are still within the Kerbal system, the Moon, Kerbal, and Minimus, and I am planning missions outward if we need them. However, I'm hoping with the changes that occurred and with some information that I was recently given, that we won't need them to finish our project. This big, huge secret project I've been talking about for such a long time. Now, what that means is we have to build, let me go ahead and start here, what we have to do is we have to build a automated ship. Now, I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to call it cheating a little bit, because these are BOMPs, bolt-on mission probes, that are not connected to the KSC using antennae. They are automated, they are self-controlled. And so because of that, I'm going to use them, because adding antennae to the design I'm about to build is going to be a huge pain. And I don't feel like dealing with that. You probably don't feel like dealing with that either. I mean, I could figure out a way to add an antenna to it and it would work without a problem, but if we don't have to, why should we? So for the purpose of brevity, we're not going to do that. What we are going to do, though, is we are going to design a very specific, very purposeful ship. And that ship is going to use a couple of parts here that I need to find. This is technically one of them. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there, and I think, where is this, a 3? Okay, is there a 4 around here somewhere? 4! Here it is, okay. Oh wow, we don't need this one. Aha! Perfect. This one might be a little bit too tiny. Oh no, we need 6. Ooh, okay. So this might not be as easy as I'd originally thought. So what we're going to do, what we need to design, is we recently unlocked a part. And it was explained to me that this part is very, very good for getting science, and it's right here, the double C seismic accelerometer. It can be used to acquire vast amounts of science from places like Minimus, which is where we're going to go. The thing is that you need 6 of them. You need 1 at each pole and 4 on the equator, at, equidistance from each other, so that impacts into the surface can be detected by all of them and registered. And then once that's done, that science gets sent back to Kerbal, which is great and wonderful. It sounds like a wonderful project. The downside is that it's going to take a lot to build it. It's going to take a lot to build it. So what we're going to need is we need a main probe body. We're going to start with a main probe body. So the main probe body is going to need a lot of electricity. And I think that 6,400 units of electricity is a lot of electricity, don't you? I do, and I should know. On top of that, so we're going to build a pretty big probe. We're going to build a pretty big probe here. So we have some liquid fuel, some oxygen here. And then we need an engine. Now, for the size of this thing, we could probably go with this engine, in all honesty, but we'll have to see. And the reason why we'll have to see is we might get lucky enough to be able to use something like this, and then a teeny tiny engine like so, and just be able to land that on Minimus without a problem, because, of course, with such light gravity, you shouldn't have an issue. So let's go ahead and take a look really quick at what else we might have here. I need some landing legs. I'd like to go with something super light for landing legs. So we have these landing legs, and if we say start open, oh, that's nice. And let's go ahead and grab MechJeb and plop MechJeb right back here. And that says we have 2,881 delta V available at a thrust to rate ratio of 2.08. Wow, that is actually a lot for such a tiny probe. Well, not actually, it's not a tiny probe at all, it's a huge probe. So that is, in fact, a lot. So this looks like a good body for our main probe. Now, the reason I call it a main probe is because there is one probe that must be used to transmit data. If I take this off, 2,101. You know what? We do need an antenna. I just realized that we do need an antenna, and the reason why we need an antenna is because without one, we won't be able to transmit data back. That is still an issue if you don't have the ability to transmit data back. So we're going to go with one of these little guys. This is 20 million meters, probably won't need half that much, considering that, well, Minimus is pretty far out there, but we do have satellites in orbit around Minimus, but they've gone wonky since we put them up there. They're all kind of stacked up on one side of the planet, and there's no coverage on the other side, so it's going to be a thing. Maybe we'll put this one on the pole, and it won't matter so much. We'll figure that out as we go. Okay, so we have that. Now we're also going to need solar panels, massive amounts of solar panels to recharge our batteries. Without, well, we could do solar panels or RTGs. What would be a better option? I guess RTGs would technically be a better option, as they don't produce as much waste heat, and you never have to worry about the sun actually touching the device itself. So if we have 4 of these, just 4 of these, oh wait, you can't put 4 of those on there with MechJeb in the way, so let's go ahead and grab MechJeb really quick, and bring him down here to the tail section, right there. And then we'll grab these again, and we will do 4 of these, like so. And that looks pretty basic. Looks pretty beastie. Now, I do believe we need a seismic accelerometer on this, because it would be completely pointless to go up there without one, only to have the game tell us that we have somehow messed up. I need to go the other way, game. There you go. Somehow messed up by forgetting the most important bit of the ship. So there we go. So a double C seismic accelerometer? Yes. Yes. So that's going to be our main probe body, our main transmitter probe. That's the one that we need that does all the main stuff. Now from here we only need very basic probes the rest of the way. Which we can probably build 4 of these, and they could all do the same thing. We could probably just build 6 of these and just send them up one at a time and do that. Or we could send them up, could we send them up as a group? Would that even be a thing? We could do that? I wonder if we can do that. Wait. Let's take a look. Let us take a look. So let's go ahead and retract that. I like this. This is actually a really good design. It's a nice little bullet-esque design here that we got going on. But if we were to do this, how would we... We need to send 6 of them. And 6 of them would mean we'd need at least... That's 8, isn't it? Yeah, and even if we were to do like 3, yeah, it would not fit by any means. We could fit no, we couldn't even fit 2 on here. Yeah, we couldn't even fit 2 on here, or this one right here, which is in fact 6 exactly. Is that the right way? There we go, upside down. Even this one would not, yeah, you could fit maybe 2. Alright, so have an option of sending 1 at a time, which is an okay option. It's not a terrible option, it's an okay option. We can send 1 at a time and land them, and I think I could do that off camera, maybe show the initial landing, and then preparatory for the final landing. Send all 6 of these up there, and that way we have 6 that all 6 of them can transmit regardless, and that would probably be very, very helpful for us. I could do minor probes, like teeny tiny probes. So if we were to take, say, let's go ahead and take his hat off. If we were to take like a force skid right here, can I put that on there, please? No? Or are you not gonna? It's not gonna be helpful, is it? It's not gonna be helpful. Well, anyway, now it's gonna be helpful. I was about to say, well, let's go do something else. And it's like, oh, let me be helpful now. No. Okay, so we can put something small on here. We could actually put, let's take a look really quick. We'll just do this quick and ugly without any clamps or anything. So if we take a teeny tiny engine like so, and then we take a teeny tiny motor like so, and then a very teeny tiny command pod, and then start that with another teeny tiny command pod. I know it's around here somewhere. Ah, here it is. We can put a cap on it. we can do something like that, and then also put on the seismic accelerometer thingy, which is not under here, it's under here, right here. So we can do something like that for our tiny detector probes. We would still need something like solar panels and landing gear, and I probably wouldn't have that much delta V. But what's really great about this, in all honesty, is this is a really good setup for the design that I had for the probes. Now, the way the probes work is once you have all your seismics down, you have to hit the ground with something. And what better thing to hit the ground with than tiny projectiles? So that right there is how we're probably going to be smashing into the ground. It'd be very interesting to land this whole thing and then just launch these up and have them hit the ground around hit the ground around it. No, we'll not do that. We'll do this proper like. But yeah, we're gonna have something like this as our actual crash pods. And then we're going to have our pod here for our science, and we're going to, I swear, I think we're just going to have to take this one up, and then I might be able to coerce a smaller subset, a smaller design, out of a couple of parts like this. And if I can do that, we'll bring those down around the other 6 locations. So because of that, we are going to skip a lot of the stuff between here and there, including like the launch, and I'm pretty sure we'll skip the... I don't know. I may show the landing, but it really depends. I just want to get this done quickly because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work on my end, so I'd like to get it done quickly so you guys can see the outcome, because the outcome's going to be awesome. I hope it's going to be awesome. We'll see if we can get a ton of science out of this, and maybe get lucky enough to unlock the rest of that tech tree that we had to shave a few bits and bobs off of to get to work. So there it is. Let's go ahead and name this little guy, since this is our main seismic accelerometer probe. We're going to call this the KSA shockproof. That's right. We're going to call it the shockproof because it's proof that shock has happened. That's right. All right, so I'm going to get a rocket into this. I'm going to get it to Minimus. We're going to land it, and then I will design a backup probe, or just do this 5 more times. Get this little guy to Minimus, and then we'll test out and see if we can get ourselves some massive amounts of science from these accelerometers. So I'll see you guys most likely at Minimus, regardless of when or where. So I'll see you guys there. Alright everybody, we are on Minimus, and just so you know, we only have 5 of the 6 probes. I keep forgetting that it's a cube, per se. 4 on the outside, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. Currently we only have 5. 4 on the outside, 1 on the top. Now, what's interesting about that is when I was landing the one at the top, I had to dump some extra trash off the back, and when I did that, it hit the surface, and we got a report saying that impacts have been detected and can be transmitted. And I figured, since, well, we have 4 of the 6 probes, let's check out what kind of science we can get out of this. So we're going to go ahead and take a look. I have not looked at this. I have no idea what's going to happen. Let's go ahead and take a look. So let's collect impact data. Wow. Okay, KSA shockproof debris impacted into Minimus, producing seismic activity. From this data, information on the surface of Minimus crust can be determined, and that is 875 science at a data size of 2,188 MITs. That is huge. That is a huge amount of science. Let's go ahead and we're going to transmit that. We're going to straight up transmit that. Now, watch that battery power when we try to transmit that. That's a 6,500 unit battery pack, and we're going to see if this completely trashes it. So here we go. And there it is. Wow, this is going to take a little while. it's going to take a little bit. Oh, and look at it chew up that battery. Just nom, nom, nom. Oh, yeah, that's going to take a bit. So, 875 science off our first impact. Now, we are, of course, going to bring 1 more probe up as well as an impactor unit. And that's going to be really interesting. The impactor unit, of course, is going to be multiple small shock probes used to basically just batter the surface. So we're going to be firing those not straight down, although straight down would be totally awesome. We're instead going to be firing them at an angle and then having them impact in the surface. And hopefully with that last probe, with that 6th probe, well, even with the 5th probe, because the 5th probe hadn't landed yet when this happened. So with the 5th and 6th probe, as well as those multiple impactors, we should be able to farm enough science off of Minimus in order to maybe, if we're extremely lucky, unlock the last few bits of the tech tree that we need in order to complete our project. And then from there, we're actually going to get into the project for real. And that's going to be really intense, because that's going to deal with a lot of stuff with designs and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and let this thing finish its download. And then I'm going to go get the last probe and put together the, well, I want to say the last probe and the probe ship, but I want to go get the last probe and then put together the impactor set, and then bring those up here, and we'll see if we can just basically suck the life out of Minimus when it comes to the amount of science we can get out of it. And so I will see you guys back here, most likely in orbit with the impactor, so that we can just watch the fireworks as they come down and then collect all our nummy science. So I'll see you guys there. Alright everybody, here we are around Minimus once again, and we have brought the Potshot. The KSA Potshot is what I called this little guy. And as you can see, he is loaded up with multiple impactors. Not going to call them warheads. Multiple impactors. These impactors are going to be used to test the seismic receivers on each of our little probes. As you can see, two of them here on the left and right side. There's one of the North Pole, one South Pole, and there's several scattered around. Now, I was informed at one point that I believe you have to rename each of the impactors, each of the probes, ships, debris, whatever it is that's going to hit the ground. You do have to rename it to make sure that it's different from the last one. So as we eject each one of these, we are going to rename them, and then we are going to bring them down. The other thing is as each one hits the ground, we are going to have to go to one of the probes and then acquire the science from that probe and ship it back. And since I have 8 of these, I believe, yes, 8 of these, doing that 8 times is extremely repetitive and very redundant. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do it once on camera for your guys' enjoyment. I'm going to do the rest until the science bleeds out and there's nothing left. Then we're going to total it all up and find out exactly how much science we had, and if we have enough, we're going to unlock that tech tree and get to where we need to go to get this super special secret project going. So let's go ahead and launch the first vessel, which is going to be this little guy. Now, it has battery power and a solar panel, and the solar panel should be enough to power the bolt-on mission probe. I hope. It's only got the one on each side of it, as you can see, and I'm not sure if that's 100% enough, but we're going to hope it is. And even if it's not, all we need is enough to slow it down to smack it into the dirt. That's going to be our big thing. So let's go ahead and decouple the first one. There he goes. Happy little guy going out there. Looks like, yes, his power is perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and rename this vessel. Now, this is called the Potshot probe. We're just going to call this Impactor 1. And I know that seems really probably boring, but Impactor 1 is a really easy name to come up with. It's a really easy name to remember, and, you know, it works. It works for what we need. Alright, now there's no mech jeb on here, so we don't really know anything about the ship, but, or like how high we are. Well, we're about 42. But we don't know apoapsis, periapsis, anything like that, or how much delta V we have, so we're going to just do this until the camera flips. Oh, well, we're going to do this like this until the camera flips, and it should be more than enough. Oh yeah, that shouldn't be a problem at all, and there it is. I wonder if we could try. Wow, that's not even a teeny tiny bit of fuel, is it? Ooh, that gives me an idea. I wonder if we can just do this. Let's go ahead and go to the surface speed really quick. Let's reduce our surface speed down to 0, basically. We might be able to just fly this straight down rather than coming in at an angle, is what I thought we were originally going to have to do. This thing's just very, it's very limited, or very powerful little engine for a very teeny tiny probe. Alright, so here we go. Here's Impactor 1, and we're just going to go ahead and throttle up and just head straight in. And we're going to see how hard we can hit the ground. Look at that. Oh, yeah. I don't think anywhere else would it work this well. Alright. So this is going to be really interesting. Let's, can we free cam? There we go. So it looks like it's coming down rather than sideways. And we're now officially out of fuel, which is fine. But we are doing 1,600 meters per second. That is fast. That is a big hole in the ground we got right there. Now, as soon as we hit the ground, we should see it register that we have, and the sun's going to go, bye-bye, sun. We should register that there was an impact detected, and we got, whoa, yep, impact recorded. Science report can now be accessed from one of your accelerometers. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and cut to one of the accelerometers, and we'll see how much science we got off of that. Are we inside the planet, or is this really, I guess it's just really, okay, it's just really smoky and dusty. I'm like, are we still inside the planet? No, we're fine. So we're going to head over to one of the probes, and we'll see exactly how much science we got off of that. Hopefully it's about as much as we got last time. If not, maybe a little bit more. So I'll see you guys over there. Alright, let's check this out. We have collect impact data. Yes! KSA Impactor 1 impacted into Minimus, producing seismic activity. From this data, information on the structure of Minimus's crust can be determined, and that gives us a total of 530.7 science. So that dropped about 300 science from the last one. A big drop, but honestly, I can't complain about 530 science from a single impactor. So I think if we drop 300, if it's continuous like that, if it continuously drops at about that rate, what we're going to end up with is we're going to end up with probably 2 or 3 more probes before it becomes a non-viable source of science. Now, because this is a really interesting and great way to get a lot of science very quickly, I think there's a chance we might be able to do something similar on the moon. But how much of that I want to display versus how much of it I just want to do off cam, I'm not sure. And the reason for that is because the moon is much bigger, it's much harder to land on. It will require a lot more time and effort to get all the probes there and everything else. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm definitely going to off camera the rest of these probe impacts. These are going to be fun and entertaining for me, at least. I'm going to do these off camera, and then we're going to go back to the R&D center, and we're going to see exactly how much science we've acquired and see what we can purchase, and hopefully we have enough to get everything unlocked without having to do this with the moon. Now, if we don't have enough for whatever reason, if it just doesn't stretch far enough, I do have an alternative in mind. Rather than just, you know, smashing probes into the moon as an alternative source, I do have an alternative mission in mind. Now, that's going to be super secret as well, because I just love super secret projects, super secret everything. That did not take quite as much time, which is good. Yeah, so I have a couple of options available in case we can't unlock it all, but hopefully we'll be able to. So let me go ahead and finish up right here doing the scientific fun stuff, smashing probes into Minimus for science. And then I will see you guys back at the R&D center, and we'll find out exactly how much we've acquired and exactly how much further we have to go before we can finally get started on the super secret project that has taken so many episodes to get to. So I'll see you guys back there. Alright everybody, here we are back at the R&D center. Now, I did get all the science I could off of Minimus using the seismic accelerator. As it turns out, you're not required to have multiple impactors, or at least it doesn't look like you need them. Each impactor apparently was not bringing the science down, but every time we transmitted science from even a single impact, it was bringing the science down exponentially, or, you know, incrementally each time. So it seems like you could get X amount of science out of a planet if you hit it with just one really big thing and then retransmit the data over and over and over again. I hit it with 2 more impactors and it still didn't make much of a difference. But as you can see, we were able to squeeze just a little bit more science out of it. So we have 2002 science. Now, I want to go ahead and show you what has happened, what has changed. Now, if you remember correctly, we didn't have this unlocked or this unlocked previously. Again, this one I was able to unlock with off-camera stuff, and then it turns out this one was added into the tech tree at some point, and it was 1500 science on this face, and that was just way over the top. So that one I was able to just kind of, you know, sweep under the rug a little bit, but we still have this one right here and one very special one after this. Let's go ahead and research that for 1,000, and we need 2,000. 2,000 science we need for this one. So we have 1,000 science in our pocket, but we need 2,000 in order to unlock the final portion of the tech tree that we require. There's little bits and bobs here and there, but none of those parts are really needed for the project that we're going to be working on. What that means is that means we have to get at least 1,000 more science in order to continue on our Kerbal Space adventures. And in order to do that, I could go to the moon. We could go to the moon. Absolutely go to the moon, do a bunch of probe science on the moon, and probably get 1,000 science. Just shave it right off the top. But we've spent this entire season minus 1 extra solar probe, or extra Kerbin probe, floating around the moons of Kerbin and Kerbin itself. And I honestly think, out of fairness to everybody out there, considering how much I had to flummox this entire tech tree in order to get it to work properly, I think I have one very special mission lined up, coming up, that's half set up, ready to go, that we can do for the next episode. It's not going to be a very long mission. It's probably going to be a very short mission, short video, but it's a special one, and one that I kind of wanted to do, but have been really nervous about doing. I've actually been really nervous about doing it, but I think I got it set up to where it'll work for us. I think I got it to where it'll work for us. So, what we're going to do right now is it has been time with this particular run. We know exactly how much science we need to get our final part and piece for this secret project. And we know exactly how much science we need. Now again, I did cut this down. This was originally a 10,000 science node. 10,000 science. That would... I don't think there's enough science in all of the Kerbal system to cover all, like, the full amount for the interstellar probe without doing things like space stations that gather science on their own and things like that. And because of that, I did have to cut it down for more basic science. But because this is a 2,000 science node, I honestly thought I set it to 1,000, but apparently I didn't want to be too easy on us. Because it is a 2,000 science node, we do have that one more mission that we'll go ahead and do. So for now, we're going to go ahead and pause here. So once again, I would like to thank you all very much for joining me, 4 kilobytes short, on this Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program, Kerbal Space Adventures, and I'll see you guys next video.